Here is your sales report for Richmond for November of 2023 compared to November 2022. The news for November is almost all bad. The listings are down significantly. Last November we had 55 listings. This year only 43. 12 fewer listings, a drop of 22%. The highest sale value last year was $1.4 million. This year it dropped down to just over $1.25 million, a decrease of $140,000, 10% drop. The low sale was also down. Last year it was $215,000. This year only $150,000, a decrease of $65,000. The average sale price is just a little bit lower this year, just 2% lower. Last year the average sale price was $681,000. This year $668,000, just a little over $13,000 less. The average list price is also just about the same this year. Last November the average list price was $664,000. This November it was $641,000, a decrease of only 4% or $23,000. And this November, just like last November, the average sale price is slightly higher than the average list price. Not much change there. The big bad news is the sales volume. Sales are down by almost $9 million this November over last, a drop of 23%. Sales November of 2022 were over $37 million. This November, sales were just over $28 million. There is one ray of hope, however. The average days on market this year were fewer. Last November, the average days on market was 25, and this year it only took 21 days on average to sell in November. I want to talk about Richmond home sales by market segment. Starting with sales of $1 million and up, there were just 4 listings in that category this year, and that's compared with 7 last year. Quite a significant drop percentage-wise. The sales of $1 million or more constituted about 9% of the total listings. The average days on market for homes $1 million and above was 6 days longer than the average, 27 days for the luxury listings and 21 days for all of the listings. The average sale price in this segment is $1.1 million, and the average list price for the over $1 million homes is $984,000. The average list to sale differential is about 12%. So in other words, the luxury homes sold for about 12% above asking. Total sales in the luxury segment in Richmond, they constituted about $4.4 million worth of sales, 15% of the total sales volume. The next segment I looked at was $900,000 to $999,000. This year that constituted, again, 9% of the total sales. There were 4 listings in this category, again, 9% of the total listings. The average days on market for these $900,000 to $999,000 homes was 28 days, which is 7 days longer than the average. The average sale price in the 900s was $986,000 and change. The average list price in this segment was $940,000. The average list to sale differential was about 4.5%. Total sales in this segment was just over $3.9 million, or 4% of the total sales volume. The next segment I looked at was the $800,000 homes. There were 3 listings in this category, 7% of the listings. The average days on market was 20, which is 1 day faster than the average. The average sale price in the 800s was $856,000, and the average list price was $843,000. Just about a 1.5% differential between the list price and the sale price. Total sales volume in the 800s was $2.5 million and change, about 9% of the total. Homes that sold in the $700,000 range, there were 4 of them, constituting 9% of the total. Average days on market was just 11, 10 days faster than the average. The average sale price in the 700s was $745,000, and the average list price for these homes was $698,000. The average differential between the list price and the sale price was just under 7%, and the total volume of sales for the $700,000 homes was just under $3 million, or about 10% of the sales volume. The big action was in the $600,000 range. There were 10 listings in the $600,000 homes, and that constituted 23% of all the listings. The average days on market was 13, which was about 8 days fewer than the average. Average sale price in the 600,000s was $659,000, with an average list price of $649,000, about a 2.5% differential. Total sales in this category was just over $6.5 million, which constituted 23% of the total sales. Next category was the $500,000 homes. There were 9 of those listings, about 21% of the total listings, and the average days on market was a little bit longer than the average. 24 days here, and 21 is the average. The average sale price was $546,000 on an average list price of $539,000. Not much of a differential there. The total volume of sales for the $500,000 homes was just over $4.9 million, about 17% of the total sales. The last segment I looked at was under $500,000 homes. There were 9 of those listings this November, and that constituted 21% of the total listings. The average days on market was 3 days longer than average, or 24 days. The average sale price in this segment was $365,000, and the average list price was just $1,000 less. Total volume of sales in this category was $3.2 million, or about 11% of the homes. The interesting thing here is that the lower 3 categories, in other words, the homes that sold for under $700,000, constituted about half of the home sales in November of 2023. Now lastly, I just want to call out a few things that I may have mentioned, but I want to emphasize. The difference in overall listings between this year and last year, there's 12 fewer. That's a significant drop. Looking at the $1 million segment, the average list price is actually an interesting stat. This year, the average list price for the $1 million category was under $1 million, whereas last November it was almost $1.1 million. This total sales volume for the over $1 million homes this November was about 15%, whereas in November of 2022 it was 21%. So that's a fall off of almost, well, it's about 6% fall off, which is pretty significant. In the $900,000 homes this year, the average days on market, which I mentioned, was 28 days. Last November, the average days on market for those homes was only 15 days. So that's a big change. Also, last year, the homes that sold in the 900s were listed in the 800s. And this year, the ones that sold in the 900s were listed in the 900s. So I don't know what you make of that, but it looks like people are needing to put the home on the market for closer to what they think its real value is. Sale price was very similar to the average list price, just about $1,000 different, and that the total volume of sales was actually increased in this category. This is the only category where the sales volume was up this November over last November. In the $700,000 range, there was an interesting change, which was that it was only 11 days on market was the average this year. In November of 2022, it was 29 days on average. So that's an interesting difference too. And finally, the under $500,000 homes this November had an average days on market of 24. And that sounds pretty high, but when you compare it to November of 2022, it's actually great. In November of 2022, the average days on market for the under $500,000 homes was 42 days. So the lower valued homes are selling much faster this November. And that is your sales report for Richmond for November. I'll see you next time.